It's time for Recipe of the Day. I usually tell you that the best thing to do when it comes to shrimp is to buy them frozen and cook them straight from frozen, especially if you're doing something like shrimp cocktail or any time that you just need cooked shrimp. You're not like sauteing them in butter or anything like that. The best thing to do is straight from frozen. They are freshest when they're frozen because they are usually caught and frozen right on the boat, and then they stay frozen, and so that is the best way to do it. However, sometimes you have thawed shrimp and you need to cook them. And if you want them for, like I said, something like shrimp cocktail, or if you're making like a shrimp dip or something like that, then you just need them very simply cooked. And the best way to do it really is to poach them. It's just a very gentle way to cook them. They stay nice and plump. I don't even think they sort of shrink as much. Really, really nice. Now, the thing to know about poaching shrimp is that because they cook so quickly, you're actually not going to be simmering them in water the way that you would like poached chicken breast. Instead, we're actually going to bring the water up to a boil and then take it completely off the heat, stop it from boiling, and then add the shrimp into that. They gently cook in that hot water. Okay, so you're going to start by bringing some water up to a boil. So if you're doing 12 large shrimp, you're going to use a 3-quart saucepan that's 3/4 full of water. If you're doing more shrimp, you want a larger saucepan and more water. The more shrimp you're doing, the more water you use. So you fill up that saucepan about 3/4 full, and then you can add things to flavor the shrimp to that water. I don't actually find that a ton of flavor gets through, so you don't want to add like super mild things, but you can. It's quite traditional to do that when you're poaching, right? So go in with some salt. I think it's really nice to add half of a lemon, squeeze the juice into the water, and then put the whole half a lemon in there. A bunch of peppercorns are great, some parsley, even some rosemary if you want something with a little bit more robust flavor. That's going to be good. You could add some garlic or some onion. Just remember, it's not going to really penetrate into the shrimp super much, so don't go through like tons of trouble getting all these aromatics ready, okay? So put those into that saucepan with the water and then bring it up to a boil. You want it nice and boiling over high heat. Then take it off of the heat and let it stop boiling. It is not going back on the heat again at all. Make sure it is stopped boiling, and then you add in your shrimp, give them a quick stir, put the lid on, and leave it there for 4 to 5 minutes. Have a look. The shrimp are probably going to be nice and opaque and pink. If not, leave them for another minute. That is totally fine. And that's what you're going to find too as you figure out like how many shrimp, how much water, what size pot. It's going to really depend on exactly the dimensions of your pot and the size of your shrimp, and like when you got it in there, you took the lid off, how long, all of that is going to change it, but it doesn't really matter. You leave it for the 4 or 5 minutes, have a look. If they're done, great. If not, put the lid back on, wait another minute. At this point, the cold shrimp have cooled down that water just a little bit, so they're never going to be like aggressively cooking in there. They're just going to keep very gently cooking in the warm water until they reach the right point. Now, if you're just eating those right away, like, I don't know, you're going to put them in some tacos and have dinner like that. It's not my favorite way to cook shrimp for tacos, but you totally could. If that's what you're doing, just drain away the water and then put them into your dinner and dig in. But like I said, the best thing to use these poached shrimp for is something like a shrimp cocktail or something where you need cold shrimp. So while they were cooking in that water off the heat, you prepare an ice bath. Get a large bowl, put at least 2 cups of ice in there, and then fill it halfway full with cold water. When the shrimp are cooked, drain off all the hot water and transfer the shrimp to that ice bath. I'll just say, depending on how many shrimp you have in that pot, how you get them from the pot into the ice bath depends. Like if you just have a few shrimp in there, you might just want to use a slotted spoon and transfer them over. If you got a whole bunch, get out a colander, drain them through there, and then put them in there. You don't need to transfer the aromatics into the ice bath because those are not good anymore. You can discard those. All that you want to transfer is the shrimp, and then you leave them in there for a good 3 or 4 minutes. Sort of the key to me, if you pick up a shrimp in your hand and just kind of hold it for a second, it should feel cold. You shouldn't get any kind of resonating warmth coming from that shrimp. Then if they're cold, you are good to go. I am going to say, I didn't say this at the beginning, but it is important, and I don't know why I didn't say it. This works for any kind of shrimp, whether they are already peeled, not peeled, deveined, not deveined, have the tail on, no tail, whatever they are, you can do this method, and you can peel them after they're cooked or before they're cooked, whatever you want to do. And I'm just going to say that I will put a link in the notes for this podcast episode for both this recipe for poaching shrimp that are already thawed and also for the cooking shrimp from frozen. It is exactly the same method. You're just putting them in there for a little bit longer. You might use a little bit more hot water, but you can cook them like this straight from frozen. Same exact thing. Water up to boil, take it off the heat, add your shrimp. Don't put it back on the heat. Just put the lid on. Leave them there for 6 or 7 minutes. Have a peek. Give a stir. If they need longer, put the lid back on. Leave them for longer. But I will link to both of those for you so that you have them. You can also go to cookthestory.com and use the search function there. If you search for shrimp, you will see all of our recipes. So many of them. I love shrimp. And you can find those there, or head to cookthestory.com/ROTD, and that will give you the link from this show to the poaching shrimp. And I might as well mention the other way that you can get the link to this is to join our Facebook group. I post the recipe of the day link in the Facebook group every single day. And so you can comment, you can get the link from there. You can share pictures of what you made. It's a really, really fun community. We're almost at 500 members. So if you have not joined yet, now is a great time. The easiest way to get there is to go to cookthestory.com/group, and that magically takes you to the Facebook group. Click join and you get to be part of us. I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there, or find it in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/recipeotd. And hey, just a quick note. I'm on a recording hiatus right now, so for the next little while, I'm replaying episodes from the archives, including this one. If you heard me mention a holiday, a season, or something going on in my life that seemed a bit off, that's why. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you're enjoying these older episodes. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, cookfor2.us, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.